Welcome back. We just got to know two families whose babies arrived way earlier than expected, but helping parents and their new arrivals get through is intensive care neonatal specialist at the Royal Women's Hospital, Dr Louise Owen. Louise, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, what an incredible job you do, and you've worked in this field for 14 years. What part do you play in the neonatal ward?
I'm just one part of a huge team, really, who looks after all these tiny babies that we have in the unit. We have almost 2,000 babies a year. So I'm part of the medical team, but we have nursing and social work and psychologists and physiotherapists and everyone who's there to look after the babies and their whole families.
Oh, it's such a massive job. And these babies, we just saw two that were born at 25 weeks, which is incredibly early. But at what age is specified premature?
So any baby born before 37 weeks of pregnancy is premature. But as alluded to in the film, we saw that it's very different to be born just a little bit premature compared with what we describe as extremely premature, which is what those two babies were.
And what sorts of challenges do they face?
Well, as those mothers both described, the initial problem really is breathing. All the baby's organs will be immature, and particularly the lungs. So they need help right from the moment of birth to start to breathe and to continue to breathe, and for many weeks and months and beyond discharge home.
And ongoingly, I mean, this strapping young man...
That's why I'm so early to work, is because I was preemie.
He seems to be doing all right now, but as those children grow, are they facing ongoing issues?
Potentially. It depends how early they were born, what experiences they picked up along the way, and how severe their lung disease as they go. So a few babies will need to go home on home oxygen, and those babies may have issues going forwards in the first year or two of life.
Louise, both families that we got to know had no warning signs for the birth. Is this preventable, or can it be minimised in any way?
Premature birth has got a range of different, there's a range of different reasons why it can be preterm. Sometimes mothers know there's been some complication in the pregnancy, or the mother's got an illness which we can manage, and we can help to delay the birth as long as possible. But not always, and they're still...
So we saw in that package with baby Millie that there was some issues 4 months on and that they could expect some complications for up to 2 years. What does the future look like in those circumstances?
Well, we know that, particularly for breathing, your lungs continue to develop well into childhood, so we expect her breathing problems to get less prominent through childhood.
Yeah.
What we don't know is, because neonatology is quite a new speciality, is what the future holds into old age for those children.
Yeah.
We expect them to have relatively normal lungs as young adults, probably as middle-aged adults, but we don't know yet what happens to them in older age.
Yeah.
Because, Louise, this is relatively new to be able to save babies at such a young 25 weeks. What has changed over the years as far as the kind of care for these premature babies?
It's changed enormously. As I said, we're quite a young specialty. In the 1960s, most of these babies, we didn't even try to resuscitate them, and only about 10% of them would have survived. Now we have lots of intensive care facilities. The philosophy's changed quite a lot, and nearer to 75% of them will eventually go home, even the most tiny babies.
And the care and the worry doesn't just end when the families leave the hospital. What's involved after that?
Well, as you said, the care and the worry is acute early on, but it doesn't go away. Suddenly people who've been protected in this hospital environment are let loose, and suddenly they carry the whole responsibility.
But the support,
yeah,
moving forward with the team, you know, you're working with the families a lot.
That's right. So we try to hand over to maternal child health nurses.
Yep.
We have a hospital in the home team that transition from the hospital to the home. The families come back to us regularly for us to look at the development and the growth of the babies to see if they need any extra support.
It can be a bit of a difficult topic to broach, maybe with a family member. What's the best thing that family and friends can do to support someone going through this?
I think asking what can be done outside. Sometimes it's very difficult for families to continually have to update everybody about what happens. We sometimes say to families, tell 1 or 2 people, ask them to disseminate it. Can they take off the load of other things, household, other childcare, cooking and shopping, the things that you don't have time to do when your whole focus is on this little tiny person and providing for them in hospital.
Such a big life shift.
Yeah, we know many women in Victoria could not have had a successful pregnancy without medical and technological interventions and the help of the incredible carers like Louise here. You can make a miracle happen by donating to the Miracle Mums Appeal. You can find all the details on how to donate on the houseofwellness.com.au website. Louise, thanks so much for taking the time to come in this morning.
Thank you for having me.